So for this part of the tutorial, we are going to be setting signal controller and signal heads in an intersection. So since we have a roundabout intersection for our sample intersection, we can take another intersection and assume that there will be um, traffic lights or signal controller in this intersection. So I went ahead and drew links and connectors for this intersection. And now we can add the signal controller. So to add the signal controller, go to signal control and select signal controls. We're going to click the green plus sign. And here we have the pop-up uh, dialog box. So you can pick which type of signal controller you will need for your intersection. So for our sample, we're going to use fixed time. So we're going to go ahead and edit the controller data. So we're going to name this um, signal controller tutorial. Signal group. We're going to add three signal groups because this is a three-way intersection. So if you have a four-way intersection, you're going to need four signal groups. So I'm going to name these signal groups based on their direction. And now we're just going to click on this plus sign to show all the signal groups that we created. So the sequence that we're going to use for these signal groups are going to be red, green, and amber. So now we can go ahead and go to signal program and click the green plus sign. Right click on the signal program and edit. So here we can assume, for example, that there is a 60-second cycle time. So for this one, you can manually put all the duration for every color, but you may also move it around. So let's say I want the westbound to go first, and I'll set this to 17 seconds. So this time, the northbound will go after westbound, and let's say this also has 17 seconds. We can move this so that it starts as soon as westbound stops. Now you can move it around or you can set this to be 20 since that is the stopping time for westbound. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for southbound. We're going to assume that this has a 17-second green duration. And so this one, we can just move it. But we can also do 36 plus 3 and then input the 39 value here. But as of this moment, this is only a 58-second cycle. So let's go ahead and close this. Let's make this 37. And let's make this 57. These are all assumed values. So if you have your data, you can easily put them here. Once you're done with this, you can go ahead and save the data and then go back to it. Click OK. So now we're going to go ahead and indicate where the signal heads are going to be. So just click on signal heads and enable the function. You have to control and right click on a connector. So this is where the signal head is supposed to be. And this is going northbound. You can allow all vehicle types or you can restrict some vehicles. But for us, we're going to allow all and click OK. And for this, we can also put here, this is going southbound. And for this one, we're going to put a signal light here at the connector for westbound. And there you go. If you wanna see your signal heads, just show this list. And there you go. Now let's go ahead and add some 3D elements to our network. Let's start with 3D traffic signals. So just select the 3D traffic signals here in the network objects and right click on a spot. Sorry, control and right click on a spot. And you will see this mast or pole. Click on the mast and you can play around with the type of the property of the pole. You can choose grooved or wooden, or I'll choose rectangular. You can even edit the height, the width, and the length, and the colors. For now, I just want to see what this will look like on the map. I click OK. So right now I have this square and a diamond. So I can click on this 3D traffic signal to edit it, double click. So now we can add a few elements to this pole to make it a traffic signal. You can add even a light and edit the length if you want. To delete an item, select the item and click the X icon. You can also add a sign and edit the properties. For now, I'm going to use an arm. I'll edit the length and the color. And you can also play around with the type. I'm just going to use a single frame arm. So for now, I just want to see what this will look like in our map. So previously, we only had the square and the diamond. Now we have these two red circles and a line. Now let's double click on it again to edit this. And I want to add a signal head. So you can also choose which type of layout you want. For me, I'll use this 6 lens layout and private transport type. You can also move this around using this button. And then click OK. Now we have this blue arrows. So we know that this is the signal head. Here we have the pole, the square, and the diamond. The two circles are the arm, and these arrows, these are the signal heads. But right now, we don't know for sure which direction this is facing. So let's go to 2D and 3D mode and click rotate mode. Use your left click of the mouse to rotate. So now I know that it's facing this way, my signal head, but you cannot edit in 3D mode, so we will have to go back to 2D mode. But now I know that these arrows designates where my signal head is facing. So if I want to rotate this, I will just drag the arm and the signal head will go along with it. Let's double check. This will also adjust the length of the arm. Click move, rotate, sorry. And now this signal head is already facing us. So we can go ahead and go back to 2D mode. Put this back here. And you can just move where you want this um, traffic signal to be. I'll put this here. And there you go. So now that we have one traffic signal, we can just select the item and Control C and Control V to copy paste. And here, I need to face the signal head this way. So I'm going to left click on the arm and rotate. And another one here. I need this arrow to be facing towards the left. So again, I'll left click on the arm and rotate. Again, let's double check in 3D mode. Now we have three working signal heads facing all of the right directions. And now let's add a few static 3D models. Go to static 3D models in our network objects and control right click again on a spot. So if your software don't open straight to the folder of PTV Vissim directory file, just go to your this PC. As I've shown in earlier tutorials, go to Program Files and look for PTV Vision folder. Go to EXE again and you will find the 3D models here. So now we will see that PTV Vissim has a lot of 3D elements. You can choose to put a house in your model. It has infrastructures as well, doors, pedestrian guidance. It also has a bench, cone, and pedestrians, vegetation, and the vehicles that I've shown in the earlier tutorial. So for now, I'm going to add a tree here. Click open. Here you can change a few of the properties, like the angles, and you can play around with the angles here. Click OK, and let's see this element in 3D. So if you want to edit its position, you can go to static 3D models, right click on it, show list, and here you can edit the angle. So this will rotate in the x-axis. And now let's go back to our roundabout for our simulation. Just click on the play button here and save the changes. So since we only have a student version, the watermarks will show in our simulation. But basically here is the simulation of the movement of the cars. You can see that this intersection has a heavy volume because of the short distance between the first intersection and the second intersection. And since we haven't programmed any routes here, the simulated cars will not go in that direction or come from even this direction as well. And that's it. Thank you for listening to this tutorial, and I hope you find it helpful. Thank you.